everybody. Jim Messina here, VintageDrumsTalk.com, coming to you from the Rebeats Cafe at the 2014 Chicago Drum Show, Vintage and Custom. And I'm sitting in here with an icon. It's a Ludwig morning. Jim Catalano of Ludwig. How you doing, my friend?
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Good to be here.
Good to see you. You know, we talked once before, and we had a great talk inside, but now we've got a new venue to talk at. And I'd just like to reintroduce you to my vintage audience out there and see here what's going on in the life of Jim Catalano and Ludwig.
Well, I'm really proud of something.
What's that?
I just completed 31 years of working at the Ludwig Drum Company.
Well, all right.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Jim.
Yeah. You know, when you think about paths of life and things like that, I mean, I was that kid that on February 9th, 1964, it changed my life.
Of course.
But people need to remember, though, of what happened just 2.5 months earlier, the death of President Kennedy. I was a 10-year-old kid. It really affected me in a profoundly negative way, okay? But on February 9th, 1964, that all changed. I was a trumpet player. Most people don't know that.
I didn't know that.
And when I saw Ringo play, and I said, I want to play drums. And, you know, when you think about it, that single decision and watching him play his Ludwig drums, and then the way my life path went, that I ended up working for Ludwig Drum Company.
What a dream.
And building drums for Ringo Starr. And now 31 years have passed by. And that's pretty special. It's almost like a destiny story.
The things that I've seen, judging from our last talk, just like you say, look what happened. You never think you've lived a dream. Your association with Ludwig and...
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, when I started in 1983, it was Mr. Ludwig had just retired. And of course, I went to him and I said, I'd like to talk to you, Mr. Ludwig. Of course, the first thing he said was, don't call me Mr. Ludwig. I'm Bill. Don't call me Mr. Ludwig. And I said, well, okay, Mr. Ludwig, but what should I call you? He said, call me Bill. And I said, man, I don't think I can do that. So I said, you know, you're like the chief executive officer. You're like the chief, you know, the chairman of the board.
You telling me you came up with that name?
That's me.
Now, for those of you who don't know, he's speaking of Bill Ludwig II, Bill Ludwig Jr., and we've always, in the collecting world, in the vintage drum community, we have referred to him at this show as the Chief. And we're just learning now where that came from.
And it was an element of respect, okay? Because here's a gentleman who, you know, really modernized the drum industry, okay? And, you know, he had already retired, already sold his company to the Selmer Company. And it was a matter of respect. And the thing that was so great was we got him to get re-involved with the company. And so in 1983, all of a sudden I said, Chief, will you come and will you work for us on a part-time basis? And he said, Jimmy, I'd love to. And so, you know, he got paid on a part-time basis, you know, like on a daily type of retainer type of a thing. We traveled the world together, and for 22 years. Isn't that something?
I can't believe it.
We kept the Chief, Mr. Ludwig, active in the drum industry, and he loved it, but he was our greatest ambassador. And, you know, I don't think there's ever been a time when someone that is, especially even has their name on the product, when they retire from the industry, they're retired.
Usually.
but we had it great in that he was able to that connection, you know, to keep the legacy alive. And then for me, what was great was the handing off of, you know, his experiences through the stories that he would tell me. And he guided me, he mentored me for 22 years. And that's why hopefully that I've lasted 31 years, because I had a great teacher.
And I think you're going to be around a lot longer than that, too. I'd like to ask you one thing. Now, yesterday, we had a day of interviews here, and we had Bill Ludwig, B3, up here. And I had no idea what he was doing here. They were talking about the B3 drums.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Did you see the drum that he's...
Well, first of all, Bill Ludwig III is one of my very good friends. Okay?
Right.
And you can't be part of the Ludwig family without loving everybody in the Ludwig family.
Right.
Okay. And so we're very good friends. I went over to Bill's booth. It's called WFL3. I took a picture with the drum with him. I'm happy for him. in having an opportunity to get re-engaged with the drum industry in that way.
That's great.
And we'll be friends forever.
Folks, I gotta say, we've got icons sitting up here with me. I feel honored, to tell you the truth, with people like Jim Catalano and Bill Ludwig III. The whole Ludwig family is just a legacy, and I'm honored to be associated here. And it's such a pleasure to speak with you every year. You do a terrific job. Thank you for your contributions to what we do, our vintage drum community and drumming in general. Jim Catalano, folks, what an icon. He's going to go a long way for years. I tell you, more Ludwig coming up. We'll be back. Jim Messina, Vintage Drums Talk, at the Rebeats Cafe at the 2014 Chicago Custom and Vintage Drum Show. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. See ya.